Well, started? Okay, so let's talk about the method how to keep track of what's going on during the sprint. So sprint is going, and we need somehow to figure out whether we are about to finish the sprint or we're about to fail the sprint. Very important thing about the Scrum. Sprint is up, and some of the stories are not completed. It doesn't mean that, well, stories are not completed, it means that sprint will not be prolonged. It will never prolong it. So sprint is strongly time boxed. And as soon as time is up, something is not completed, you just go back to the backlog, and the value of incomplete story is 0. Next, before the upcoming sprint, product owner may decide to re-include the story into the next sprint if it's so valuable, and the team will continue where it's left off. But it may want to say, you know, product owner may want to say, okay, maybe we spend some time, well, we don't want to spend any time with this more, let's take it somewhere else. Or maybe in 2 weeks on 10 sprints or whatever. And now we're gonna go with something else. But all uncompleted story gonna go at the end of the backlog, at the end of the sprint back to the backlog. That's why for Scrum Master, it's better to make sure that everything is gonna get completed. And in order to do that, there is a special chart that shows that, and it's called burn down chart. So what is burn down? Who knows what is burn down?
Like whatever things we have done in that sprint.
But just regularly, just generally.
But does it show
let's say you are going
the percentage of completion of a certain task or something?
Yes. So basically, let's imagine that you are going from San Francisco to LA, and there are, let's say, 2 kind of people. Some of them count, okay, I need to do more, let's say, I need to cover 500 miles more. And other people say, I already covered 500 miles. So the first category of people is called up down, you know, sorry, not down, burn up people. And this one burn down. So burn down, you're already computing what is behind you. What is behind you. So this chart has story points on ordinate and time as abscess.
Time, do you mean story points again?
No, time. Let's say your sprint is 2 weeks, so day 0.
Oh, that's astronomical time now.
Yes.
Time.
And here is, let's say, day 14.
Okay.
And your sprint is 14 days. And how it's gonna work? So what you're gonna have in the very beginning? How the same? How many stories are completed just in the first millisecond of sprint? How many stories are completed during the first millisecond? How many? Any ideas? First millisecond we just started. We did nothing yet.
0.
So completed. And here are what to do. So stories to do. Stories to do. So everything is to do right now. And ideally, at the end of the sprint, nothing gonna be to do.
Yeah.
And this burn down is gonna go down. It's gonna go this way. So at this point of time, let's say half of our stories are up, are behind, and half of them are still done. But it could be another way around. It could look like that. So what does it mean? If it goes just, you know, we're about to complete the sprint, but it looks like half of the stories are still not done.
It's taking longer than...
Yeah, something is wrong. Something is wrong. It's really wrong, but we cannot prolong the sprint. So we're gonna take them out.
So this burn down chart helps the Scrum Master to see
and
how many
product owner
tasks...
as well to indicate the actual progress.
To see,
so,
to check the progress of his project.
Yes.
Okay.
Of this, not the project, of the current iteration, of the current sprint.
Okay. Okay.
And another thing. Imagine that in a 1 week, so I'm very lazy. And I say that my capacity is 1 story point per 1 year. And maybe something like that. And in 1 day, so I'm already done, you know? And it also kind of helps product owner to indicate that maybe team is just to doing nothing. Maybe they just Facebooking instead of doing actual job. Yeah. So it's basically it should finish up to come back to zero, come down to zero at the end of sprint. It should come back to zero
at the end of time.
So yeah, basically what should be done? We should ask what should be done for now during the sprint. At the beginning of the sprint, everything should be done. At the end of the sprint, nothing should be done because everything is already done.
Okay.
And it's burn down chart. Well, how to accommodate this burn down chart? Kanban board. In order to accommodate this chart, in order to actually keep track on what's going on, there is a Kanban board. It's called Kanban board. Kanban. And it's not an English word. It's Japanese word.
Okay.
Introduced by one guy, you probably heard his name, Toyota. And what he does, probably cars Toyota, and we all know what he does actually, Toyota and Lexus. And he introduced this concept of Kanban, tracking. Classical conventional Kanban board, and it could be just a real board on the wall. In Rally, it's a virtual board, you can also drag and drop.
What do you use Kanban board for?
To keep track on a progress on each particular work item. In our case, work item is a story. So I'll
How
make
is it
clear.
different from a Gantt chart or something?
Well, I'll just explain the difference. You will see the very clear difference. Story can be in the state, or whatever trackable item can be in a state. Conventionally, there are 3 states: to do, in progress,
Completed. Yeah.
and done.
Okay.
Or completed. Some product managers design something like 12, like it could be to do in requirement solicitation, queuing, pending development, in development,
Depending on the percentage
in development
of the
testing,
work.
in QA, pending QA, blah 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 blah, and finally released. So I heard a story that some company practice 1,500 columns. How do they manage? Probably they have infinite wall for that. Well, we are not so sophisticated, and we will go just with 3 of them. And how could it look like? Story 1, story 2, some cards. So in real world, those are just stickers on the wall, just regular stickers. You just move them through the columns. So something is here, something is here, so some stories are there, and you can drag and drop.
But that does not define you the time, right? Are you going with progress with respect to the time that you have already defined? It doesn't show you, right?
It does. It does. Here's the thing. A lot of stories. At the very beginning, where is they are on this chart?
At the 0?
Just all of them here.
To do.
To do. During the time you drag and drop them. As soon as something goes to done, we subtract the stories from the cumulative to do, and that's why the time gonna deduct it, and this burn down gonna get down.
Okay.
So basically, it's kind of how it works.
So this is mostly analytics about how the project is progressing and everything.
Yes, it's a progress bar. So treat this stuff at the very high level. If you have never seen that before.
Okay, this is fine. This is to just to show Roxana how we're going with the project.
No, it's not for show Roxana. Maybe show Roxana as well, but it show us. It show me. As we're going to make the deadline, we're gonna fail the exam because nothing is done. Maybe if 2 days before the release everything is here, I may just leave some quick message in Hangout or whatever, use WhatsApp. Guys, we're about to get F because nothing is done. So just for ourselves, it's not to show up someone. It's also to show up someone, but primarily it's for ourselves. Just to understand what's going on, because you're doing something, you're moving up. And
so all this is available in Rally, or is it
yes,
some?
Rally.
Okay.
The best tool for that is Rally.
Rally helps us to design a software using Scrum methodologies and everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's basically some tool. So you probably asked me the question. Yes, it was you. What's the difference between Gantt chart and this one? In Gantt chart, you actually have the time planning. So you have this is gonna take you these days. And after that it's gonna be the next days, and after that you're gonna be, and you drag and drop, you attach dependencies, And it's totally nowhere near Scrum, because in Scrum there is no concept of mutual story dependencies. There could be dependencies, but in this case they're just not selected altogether, and they're not manageable like that. So in Gantt chart you basically are planning time. It's not about planning progress, it's about planning time, and here it's about planning progress.
Okay.
Time is also there, but it's not concept number 1, it's concept number 10 or 25 or 100. So number 1 and 2 and 3 and 5 is
So it doesn't
progress.
matter with time, but then how much progress we have achieved in the project.
How much progress?
Okay.
You answer this question yourself right now. Let's say in the beginning of the sprint you have everything here. Next you drag, you drag one story over there. Next you drag the to done. When it comes to done, it's subtracted from to do here. And there's gonna be some small step back, small step down. Someone else drag the story to done, and yet another step to down. You see? And
but throughout the progress, we can actually have some more storylines added or storyboards.
Never. And as I told you, as soon as you started the sprint, no more stories come to the sprint. They come
then
here.
What if the customer wants to add some more
product
requirements?
Product backlog. So customer has requirements and they come to product backlog. Next product owner gonna consider them, prioritize them, and maybe include to the next sprint. Maybe include in the sprint that's gonna happen in 6 months.
So
but
the
it's
sprint,
never gonna interrupt the sprint.
So the sprint is not like the whole project cycle. It's like a
sprint
small
is
cycle.
Small piece of small piece.
So
of
it's
project.
not the whole complete project.
No,
Okay.
never.
So that is what
You
I
have
was
to
saying.
wait.
Since it is the whole project, you need to add it.
It's not the whole project. And actually at the
So
end.
how long is a sprint? Is it like a 2 weeks or 1 week
Well,
or
we
1
already
month?
defined that the best duration according to Scrum Alliance is 3 ± 2.
Okay.
The best number of people there is 7 ± 2.
Okay.
So for 2 weeks. At the end of some sprint, you may or may not have a deliverable. And
Sure.
it's also up to Scrum Master and Product Owner all together to define whether it's gonna be delivered or we're just gonna make sure that we did it. And here is very important thing. So the key difference in between Scrum and another methodology, that Kanban is also could be treated as a complete methodology. But unlike Scrum, it has no time boxes. Scrum has always very strong time boxes. You committed to have this done within 2 weeks, and you should do that within 2 weeks. It should not linger forever. At the end of 2 weeks, we're gonna ask you what is done. If it's not done, you're in trouble. Yeah. If it's not done.
All right. So this all tends towards rally and project management.
So yes, it's all about project management. It's all about efficiency. It's all about traceability and trackability. You should know what you're doing on, and you should know what your coworkers are doing on, and you should actually know what impedes the project from succeed. If you see that a lot of stories, if you have a special column for QA, so in this case, if we have just 3 columns, QA is just a separate story. Test, feature, blah. Test, feature, full.
Okay, so
if we have QA as a separate column, it's going to be continuation of life cycle of the same story. And if we see that all stories are got stuck in QA, probably we need to fire some QA guys and kill them, or maybe hire someone.
We understand that this is all for project management. So I want to know how we're gonna proceed with the development of the project by itself, as in the architecture and everything, or
it's not about Scrum. It's not about Scrum. It's more about technical stuff. Scrum is more about how to plan and how to make sure that we are doing actually useful things, and how to make sure that we are not doing something extra.
Yeah, that's all managerial stuff, right?
All story can contain attachments, so we have some requirements.
So how are we gonna proceed with the project? I mean, as in like any technologies that we're gonna use.
We already, you've probably seen my email yesterday.
Yeah, that we agree.
Yeah, so I'm already. I have it. Unfortunately, I got my account here crashed. So I have this data. I cannot share it right now. I need to fix it up. If you have flash drive, so whatever memory sticks, I can just copy the software to you. I have it here and I can access, but I cannot actually share that over email. I'll do that within a couple of days. I'll fix that. And so what we're gonna have? We're gonna use, as a technology stack, we're gonna use Microsoft.NET technology stack. That is, so those who gonna code on C# gonna have installed Visual Studio, SQL Server Management Studio, ReSharper. Without ReSharper, well, it can work without ReSharper, but nobody deals with C# without ReSharper. ReSharper is must-have tool. So you're gonna have this 3 installed.
So that's for the back end of the project?
Yes, for
Okay.
front-end stuff. So you're gonna.
I'm thinking for Bootstrap for front end.
Excuse me?
Bootstrap.
I'm talking about backend.
No,
No.
he's talking about front end.
Well, he's talking about front-end. I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
asked
understand.
about
I'm
what-
asking. I just
Yes,
want to know.
Okay,
everything.
Bootstrap. You can use that on the front end.
Yeah.
You can use it on the front end, but let's just not be all over the map. Just let's define backend stuff. As I already told you, it's gonna be .NET. It's gonna be SQL Server. SQL Server is gonna be hosted on AWS probably, and you're gonna have only Management Studio for SQL Server to be installed. If you are working with that, if you are not working with SQL Server, probably it's gonna be only me who works with SQL Server because it's what I've been doing. C# MVC as just a cross-cutting framework through the whole .NET because MVC on the server side and it's gonna result in controllers for you. We can do Angular, but I guess it's gonna take us more time than just conventional MVC with conventional views, and I will have some bare bones of LS views. We will just decorate them with Bootstrap.
Sweet. I
Well,
need.
Using
have some-
MVC, he wants to
I will
integrate.
have conventional MVC,
Yeah, if we
and
use-
you will decorate that with Bootstrap.
If you use Visual Studio when we are developing the Bootstrap, you can integrate ASP.NET into it. I have seen. a couple.
You're just talking something that is obvious. Of course you can, and you know I'll do some skeletons, some views, some partials, and you will just decorate them because it's, I'm just too busy to decorate this stuff. I'll just do it, make it functional, you make it beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
మొత్తం UI అంతా చేయమంటున్నారు లిటరల్ గా లైక్ యూజింగ్ HTML CSS and everything.
Well, of course it's
Yeah.
It's all about
Bootstrap
front
అంటే
end.
అవన్నిటిని ఈజీగా
You probably know what you're doing.
అది బూట్స్ట్రాప్ అనేది ఒక ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ అన్నమాట.
Okay.
సో వాడి దాంట్లో
So you're gonna give him all the links or everything or a basic HTML page and he's gonna decorate it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Decorate that. So talking about code collaboration, of course GitHub, I already created GitHub and you have the links. You can clone the repository. Those of you guys who code, so it's Git repository, you're gonna clone that and contribute, and all contribution gonna get through pull request from me. So you will contribute in that through pull request, and I'm gonna take a look and I'm gonna either approve or say okay, it's not production quality.
Okay, since everyone is not going to be working on all the software development, she's good with C# too.
Yes.
So she'll help
also,
you on the back end.
Yes, she'll
alright?
help me on the back. You'll help me on
I'll
the front.
help him with the front end.
Okay.
Okay. And depending on you both, since you'll be testing,
You should not.
do you want
care about
testers
that.
also to help us with development?
But,
or
but the testers have no idea about development.
Yeah,
probably.
no, they learn in the meanwhile if you want to. Do you guys want to involve with what we are developing and then slowly go on with the testing?
Okay.
Or do you want to stay till we continue and complete development and then start testing once it's done?
Since we are working on the SCRUM, we are working on the Agile, so I think we should test each pieces after you.
As soon as we
Yeah.
finish it. Okay.
So what's your skill set for now? What you feel comfortable with?
You mean the technology?
Yes. Just know, well, it's not going to be valued. It's not going to be valued. She's going to be more as tester. So let her be a good tester rather than whatever quality developer. So
it's better to start from basic tutorials. By the time we are done with these things, they
Yeah,
might
because
catch
since we will take some time to
okay.
start development,
So for you,
in the meanwhile,
let's
you can
bring
work
you
on
more
stuff that we will
let's
be
bring you more to
giving.
front-end stuff, I would say. Hold on. What the hell? Hold on. Okay, yeah. So you should go there. Code school.
for the front end.
Yeah, for the front end.
I'm good with front end. I'm right now following a tutorial. Even they can. I'll share it with them also.
Okay.
No, we'll help them out with the front end. So you
Well,
want to do?
hold on. We need to. We cannot be all in one person. So there must be some people who really designated to front to backend. So I'll be backend developer. She'll be backend developer. You guys gonna do front end because you know what you are doing. And even though I will have some kind of reviews of what you are doing.
So since there are two testers, do you want one tester
we
for
can have one working
from
on the
backend and
backend,
from one working on the back or front end?
front end.
Well, I don't think that we're gonna probably spend more time to instruct you and supervise you rather than to.
No, they're gonna study it themselves too. It's not like just they're gonna explain them everything and they're gonna
In this
test
case,
it. Since
can
there's
do
gonna
that.
be some time for us to start developing.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile,
I
they'll
know
start
for
learning.
me it's gonna be very quickly to go with backend.
Yeah,
and
since
with that.
you and
But you know, front end stuff make it beautiful. Plus pixel here, minus pixel there. It's more tinkering and it's more time consuming. So you may wanna just join the stuff. You may wanna join the two guys and figure out how to deal. So basic technologies, CSS, JavaScript, HTML.
that will take care of that.
Yes.
We will take care of that. You just deal with the backend,
Yes.
including the C#, .NET, MS SQL.
Yes.
So you and Shruti,
Yeah.
this girl, she's good with C# too.
Yes.
So you both work on the backend together.
Yes.
Me and
some basic
Abhimanyu.
bare bones for front end. Bare bones.
Barebone, yeah, that's like
Very bare bones
just
for front
yeah,
end
understand.
and start, you know,
Like giving
stemming from
connections
this
to-
bare
yeah.
bone, you will just
We will
3D
start
print them.
working on the front end UI. That would involve all the pages, web pages,
Yes.
CSS, HTML, and
Yeah.
JSPs. No JSPs, right?
Of
No.
course, we will have rather instead. So in the JSP is Java technology. In the world of C#, similar but almost identical technology called rather. And it's
Okay.
not the same rather. It's actually rather that.
So you can give us
shades
some
the
idea
code.
too. You can give us some idea too on what
Yeah.
sort of technologies
Yeah.
are good, and
Yeah.
we can try to incorporate
Actually,
them
you
in
know,
the front end.
Now in the real world, everybody, there is a lot of code base. Of course, nobody in the real world use ISPF technology. It's obsolete in the world of .NET. A lot of people use, and I actually also use MVC with Res. That's what we're gonna use here. And on some very, very fancy, very new project, when I want a single page application, I use AngularJS.
We'll look into some technologies for
Yeah,
the front
but-
end.
Yeah, but in our case, AngularJS will not work because for me it's gonna be faster to run backend code with MVC. It's not gonna be just because I don't have time. I run Angular 12 hours a day in my office.
It's alright, it's alright. Since you're gonna just give out the links from the backend, like a backbone, we're gonna use it and try to make it look nice.
Yes, exactly what you're going to do, but nevertheless, the quality should be production quality. And well, you're gonna all have pull requests, and on pull request, please ident code. Make sure that the code is indented and human readable, so that it's just
Just add comments when we
Yeah.
whenever-
no
Understand.
comments. Sorry, if you add comments, it just basically means that your code is not expressive enough. So let's talk about backend and front stuff. About whatever you code, method names should be explicit what the method is doing. There shouldn't be method like A or B or C.
We understand.
but-
You want us to have good naming conventions that
Yes, good naming
people could
convention,
understand what
you know,
a function or something would do.
Front end, you're gonna stick to common common JavaScript naming convention. On the back end, we're gonna stick to common camel case.net convention. That is gonna be enforced with resharper. On the front end, resharper will enforce you with front end convention. So if you misname something, resharper will just automatically rename that.
Okay, that's
And
cool.
just bubble it up. Say, okay, you misnamed that, let's rename that. And
Okay.
offer you what to rename that with. And you will just, make sure that you are sticking to that convention.
So with respect to the testers, do you want the testers to start learning both front end and back end together, or do you want to use a one specific tester
Well-
for back end and one specific tester for front end?
What you're saying doesn't make sense. Because they gonna do black box testing from UI perspective, and they don't care about back end, front end, whatever. They just have the application.
Once it's completely done, then let's
Oh, until then they don't.
But
worry.
before that, well, no.
Then what are
that's
they
not
gonna
correct,
do?
That's not correct. So during the project, as soon as some feature is done, let's say you have some page and this particular page is already done. it takes 1 day to do this page, but while we're doing the second page, you are testing the first page. And you're making sure that it actually works.
So we just do the UI testing.
It's called black. Do you know
Black
what?
box testing.
Yeah, black
Yeah,
box
I know.
testing. Maybe we want to involve them into automation. I'm familiar with at least some coding practices. Or not really?
Okay, we'll go.
Are you
and-
familiar or not? For now.
No, they'll learn. It's
I
okay.
don't know.
Everyone has to
Okay,
learn
in this
everything.
case,
No one knows.
in this case, we may want to involve QA people into test automation by means of Selenium WebDriver.
Okay.
So you will learn it's very simple framework in .NET also. We'll have test project and you will run some basic framework for Selenium. It shouldn't be, well, I'll explain you one thing. So when it comes to Selenium, I'll explain you how to do that because I recently interviewed a lot of people with in my company as QA automation and I rejected about 10 of them. Just because what they are doing is not only production quality, it's even not garbage quality, it's just even bad, even worse. It's just terrible. Just try to. I'll explain you how to do that properly, how to do that human readably, and how to do that in the way to be able to maintain it down the road. And you'll do that.
Okay. So do you have something that you want everyone else to do for this